Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, I am going to be explaining what dribble styles are and how they work here in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. I understand for some people, this is a super basic video. You understand all of this, you know all of it. You don't need me to tell you what this stuff is, but there are people out there who do not understand the way the dribble styles work in MyTEAM. I say certain terms and certain things in my videos, and I've been doing one-on-one MyTEAM coaching recently, and I've realized that there are certain terms and certain things that I say that people just don't understand what I mean. So I'm going to make a video basically in this video breaking down how dribble styles work, how they're used, how they impact a push cross, how they impact your burst, that type of stuff, and just breaking down the way that a dribble style works. I will probably make a couple of other videos over the next couple weeks as well, breaking down some other dribbling concepts, talking about timing burst again and how to escape into a timing burst, and just explaining the way the timing burst works and the key sigs for that. So I'll probably do a video a bit more centered around the timing burst. I'll probably do another video on some other dribbling concepts. Maybe I'll do a fat stop video. I'll explain some of the basic core dribbling concepts in MyTEAM. But in this video specifically, I want to talk about the dribble styles and how they affect the game, how they can give you a burst, especially if you have a good dribble style, and how push crosses work as well. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 25,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Tons of consistent daily MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. So obviously, if you hop over to 2KDB, I show 2KDB in my videos all the time. I use it for most of my videos, or not most of my videos, but a lot of my videos, obviously all my ranking videos and all that type of stuff. Right here is your dribble style category, and you're going to see, I mean, Ron Artest has MJ dribble style. Kobe has his own dribble style, which obviously his cards, I mean, he has his own dribble style. Devin Booker dribble style is another good one. I think Pro dribble style is pretty good. Kyrie dribble style is the best dribble style in the game. But regardless, dribble style is certainly one of the first things that I look for each week when the new set of cards comes out. First thing I'm looking for is I'm coming in here and seeing what dribble style the top tier cards have. And I will say most top tier cards now are getting pretty good dribble style. Steph is another solid dribble style. I wouldn't say it's the best one. Kyrie is, in my opinion, the best dribble style in the game. For example, Tyrese Thomas, who I have in freestyle over here, has Kyrie dribble style, and dribble style basically controls two things. For those of y'all who do not know, what it controls is the burst you get when you run out of an animation. For example, if you do a dribble move and then you don't time it properly and you run out of the animation, or you're just holding right trigger and you run downhill, whether you're running downhill towards the left right there, you're basically running towards the ball hand. When you run towards the same ball hand, or you run out of a dribble move, I do behind the back and then I run to the rim, try to run. That is what a dribble style controls, is that burst that you get. The other thing that a dribble style controls that is kind of new this year in terms of how useful and how used it is the push cross. And a push cross is basically the same thing as just running to the same side. It's just running to the opposite ball hand. So if the ball is in my right hand, I'm going to the left holding right trigger, or vice versa if the ball's in my left hand going towards the right. There is a certain timing you have to spam the time burst. You can spam it back and forth, but before you can get, sorry, not time burst, push cross. Before you can get the push cross consistently, you have to push your right stick at the right angle to straight across to trigger. It has to be the proper angle. There will be certain angles and certain timings at which it won't trigger properly if you do it too quickly or you don't do it at the right angle with your left stick. But it's also honestly a very simple dribble move. I think push crosses are one of the simplest dribble moves in the game, and they can create a lot of separation. So Tyrese Thomas has a good push cross. Another good push cross, in my opinion, is the Devin Booker push cross, which is what Lonzo Ball has. It's this animation right here. Creates a lot of space, creates a lot of separation, can get you going off of a screen for like a three, or it can get you downhill. That's a good push cross. Kobe push cross is also really good. It's a very fast push cross, good for changing directions and getting downhill, all that type of stuff. And that one was not proper. There you go, right there. It's a pretty good push cross as well. So the push cross and the run out of it, I guess, animation are the only things that the dribble style really controls. But that is really important because look at this. Basically, any card in the game that does not have Kyrie dribble style, so for example, Kobe, the speed at which he runs out of these animations is just slow. It's not a smooth, consistent burst, if that makes sense. I hope y'all are kind of understanding what I'm saying. I'm trying to make this very, very simple and be very clear about what I'm saying. But as y'all can see, the animation here is just much different and much slower than the animation that I get if I do the same move with Tyrese Thomas. Now, Tyrese Thomas is better drag back as well, but the burst, you see how much quicker and smoother that burst is? It's just much, much better. Kyrie dribble style gives you a better burst, but with every other dribble style in the game, that is where the timing burst winds up becoming really important to have and to know the skill of, because this, you see the movement that I'm getting right here, this movement is just so much smoother than the movement that you can get out of most of these dribble styles. Because if I do this escape, but then I don't trigger the time burst properly and I burst, you see how much slower that burst is than the timing burst? I am going to make a whole separate video talking about the time burst. I think I already made a video talking about the time burst this year earlier on my channel, maybe as well, but I'm going to make another one just to reiterate more in depth and be more direct and explain it better, hopefully, and just explain it for everyone out there who's been asking for some dribble tutorial type videos. I'm going to try to do some more of these tutorial type videos over the next few weeks. I may do an X switching tutorial on defense as well. I'm thinking about doing a bunch of other stuff like that. But for real quickly, I just will kind of explain the time burst. I'll go into more detail later. But the time burst is just based off of the timing at which you run with your left stick after triggering a right stick dribble move. There are only 3 right stick dribble moves that you can time burst out of, and that is the same side hezzy, the front escape, and the between the legs escape, which looks like this. This is your same side hezzy, your front escape, and then your between the legs escape. Every card has different SIGs there. Those SIGs will be determined. I mean, those SIGs are on 2KTV, but they're not always exactly described properly, like behind the back SIGs. Sometimes we'll say pro, and that could be one of a few. Same thing with escapes. If it says pro, it can be one of a few. But in general, if you start to understand the way SIGs work on 2KDB and stuff like that, and what SIGs work and what SIGs don't, it can be a lot easier to understand dribbling. But the only 3 moves you can burst out of are that front escape, that between the legs escape, and that same side hezzy, just like you saw me do right there. Got to be holding the right trigger for all 3 of those to trigger them. And that right there will give you the ability to trigger a time burst out of those 3 moves. And it's just based off the timing at which you run out of it. Basically, when the ball hits the opposite ball hand, or for basically a front escape or between the legs. Anyways, there's a siren outside. I apologize if y'all can hear that. There's like a fire truck driving by or something, or police or something. I don't know. But basically, the time burst, same thing with the same side hezzy, although the same side hezzy is even easier to trigger, honestly. The one thing about the same side hezzy is that sometimes there's a couple of moving hesitations that screw with that, but I'll talk about that more later when I do a dedicated video on the time burst. I'm not going to go into depth on that right now. One other small niche thing that I will mention about dribble styles real quickly before we finish out this video, and again, I apologize about the sirens if y'all can hear that. It's actually kind of loud. I don't know why, but regardless, D-Rob has pro dribble style. Pro dribble style works differently than every other dribble style in the game, and this is an important thing to note for those of y'all out there who are wanting to learn more about dribbling. Cards with pro dribble style have a different diagonally down push cross versus their straight across push cross. Like his straight across push cross is kind of slow, doesn't create a ton of separation on a pro dribble style, right? But if I push my left stick diagonally down towards the opposite ball hand, I'm pulling it down towards me diagonally down towards the opposite ball hand, I get a much quicker push cross that you can burst out of much easier. So if you have pro dribble style, you're trying to use the push cross, make sure you are going diagonally down instead of straight across like this, because you'll get a much slower animation going straight across than you do going diagonally down. That does not work for other dribble styles, but it does work specifically for pro dribble style. And then I guess one other thing I will mention just super quickly, MJ dribble style is not very good when it comes to push cross at all. MJ dribble style is a very common dribble style and does have a decent burst when you just straight up burst out of it like that, but it does not, unfortunately, it doesn't burst all that well at all out of a timing burst. It really doesn't. I'm sorry, a push cross. It doesn't have a good push cross at all. It's a very ugly, not very smooth, doesn't create much separation. It's just not a very good animation. So if you have MJ dribble style, probably want to stay away from the push cross. But in general, for the most part, especially at this point in the year, most cards outside of the cards that are getting MJ dribble style have good push crosses. So it's a really important move to understand how to use and how to use dribble styles properly. If you have Kyrie dribble style, you can run out of dribble styles and dribble moves that you can't otherwise. Otherwise, you got to learn how the time burst works. And again, I will make a video talking about that separately later. But I think I've rambled for long enough. I'm sorry. This video might even be longer than it needs to be, but hopefully it explains the concepts of dribble styles, push crosses, all that stuff better so that you now understand that a lot more. And if so, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.